What's up, everyone? One last vlog, and then I gotta take it easy and stop talking for a bit. Between the vlogging and talking in the stores that I visited this afternoon, or the store I visited this afternoon, yeah, I'm doing too much talking today. So, cheers, drink it if you got it. And as always, drink responsibly. Now, first and foremost, I'm thinking this secondhand Schmecondhand stuff should be a series, a minor series maybe. Now I won't go out of my way to make these kinds of videos every weekend like some of the channels that do this stuff full time will do. But I'm thinking I've done enough of these by now that I should probably do something with it. So I'll probably make a minor series playlist out of secondhand Schmecondhand and all these videos about visiting secondhand stores and shopping for stuff and that kind of stuff. So. It'll be pretty interesting to say the least. I might incorporate some of my e-tail purchases as well if I buy secondhand games from like Lukey or JJ or something like that. So, alright. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing something with this, but not having it be a regular thing. See, the problem I'm running into is the vlog series is supposed to be kind of like personal talk about life and stuff, but some of the content, some of these vlogs has been too technical for the vlog series, but it's too vloggy for the tech series. So I really don't know what I'm going to do. Might make a series with its own opener and everything for this later, like all the trimmings of a formal series. But for now, the secondhand Schmecondhand videos are going to get their own playlist, and I think I have an open playlist slot on the main page ever since taking some stuff down. So, okay, anyways. So I went out and got rid of a bunch of those movies I was talking about earlier, a bunch of DVDs I didn't really care for anymore. I did keep my honorable mentions from the reverse DVD update. Excuse me. And of course, I also decided to keep the World War II collection because I haven't watched all of these DVDs yet. Once I've watched them, then I'll decide whether I want to keep this or not. But it's a box set, but a lot of the videos on here are actually probably on archive.org. I've had this for about 10 years or so. It's all in black and white too, so it's really kind of like historical type stuff and a lot of old videos that were re-released on DVD. But because of how this store operates, the way the secondhand store operates is that I didn't really want to, I didn't know if they would count this as 1 or as 15. So I'll have to see what's going on with that. Is it by disc or is it by box? So I'll have to ask about that next time I'm there, which won't be for a while because they're a little too far away to really justify going out there if I don't know for certain that I'm going to get something from them or sell something to them. So we'll figure it out. Unless I can get transferred back to my regular building, which is a lot closer to them than where I'm right now is, and I can stop on the way home from work, I don't see myself going up there very often because it's these secondhand stores, you're really taking a risk going out there. There might not be anything you want to buy. So it's not like, say, your Targets or anything where you can have a shopping list prepared beforehand and plan your trips out because the inventory constantly changes at these places. So anyways, World War II box set, I'm going to hold on to it for now and stuff like that. So here's how it all worked. I got rid of just about that whole box full of DVDs except for a few. And so, yay, cool, some more space on my shelves and more movies I won't be watching on a regular basis. And the way they work is it's flat rate. They sell DVDs for $3 each, and they have a bulk discount if you buy a lot of them. So they actually have some Blu-rays too that are $4 each, which I'll check out if I can see anything. If I see anything I want, I'll definitely pick it up because you got the Walmarts and the Targets of the world bragging about $5 and under deals. So they're doing $4. So $4 for Blu-ray. There wasn't much though. Blu-ray isn't exactly the sort of thing that people are going to be getting rid of anytime soon unless it's something they don't like because it's an incredible format, looks way better than DVD. If you have a full 1080 TV and you're not sitting too far away from it, it's a huge upgrade, even from upscaled DVD. So they sell them for $3 each, and they'll take them for 50 cents cash, which I didn't bother with, or $1 store credit. Now, that's an insult, I know. Compared to what I paid for these things when I got them new, it's like GameStop, but it's small business. However, the good news is, if you look at Amazon and their trade-ins, there's a lot of stuff they won't even take. And then there's stuff where you get like, they'll give you like a quarter for it or something. So it's really, Yeah, it is kind of a mess, but at least these folks, they'll literally take everything, even B movies or movies that aren't too popular. It's flat rate, and if you get store credit, it's $1 per disc. There's a secondhand store in my neck of the woods that's selling DVDs for $1 a disc. So that's the reason. That's the big reason why. That's the big reason why I didn't have a problem with the prices. Plus, it's not all that great, and it's DVD. Nobody's gonna be paying an obscene amount for DVD. Case in point, Groundhog Day. My copy of Groundhog Day I got from Big Lots a couple of years ago, before the Blu-ray prices started really coming down, for $3, new, sealed. This was $3 new, sealed. Dollar store video disc. These things indeed are. Especially the secondhand store selling for $1. Although the one up the road selling them for $3, so I imagine it can't be. I imagine they can't be selling too well. No, not like they have much of a selection. Anyways, people just plain don't like DVDs anymore. It's really, you can upscale them, but that's about it. That's the only edge that DVDs have over streaming formats. And now you can stream in HD if you have a good enough broadband service. So if you don't have good broadband service, upscale DVD is your next best bet. But it's DVD. It's not on its way out, but it's basically a El Cheapo format. I mean, this place even still had VHS tapes. So I'm going to tell my dad, because that might get him to go actually check that store out. They have VHS movies, because he still actually watches VHS. All right, another drink here. So, okay. So I went to this place and got rid of all those DVDs and got about $26 in store credit. So that's good. Wouldn't take two of them. They wouldn't take two of them, though, because they were too scratched. So I still have an extra copy of Spaceballs that they wouldn't take because it was too scratched. I'll see if maybe the secondhand store with the dollar DVDs would take this off my hands or something for some paltry amount, like a quarter. I don't know. Nah, it wouldn't be worth the gas money. I'll figure something else out for this. And First Night. Now, the interesting thing with First Night is that, yeah, but this is a halfway decent movie. I mean, it's not like it's horrible or anything, but First Night, yeah. It's scratched on the full screen side. This is a flippy disc between widescreen and full screen. And of course, knowing that widescreen is superior to full screen, I would put this full screen side down whenever I laid it down on something. So the full screen side has some scratches. So yeah. But they wouldn't take it, even though it was the full screen side that was scratched, and Spaceballs, this thing's just too darn scratched. So I don't know what I'm going to do with these. We'll figure it out later. Or maybe there's a store of the resurfacing kit that won't mind the scratches. So what did I get? Number one, another Blockbuster bag. They must have wholesaled these things when Blockbuster liquidated. So let's see here. An important note is that I paid a grand total of $1 and change for this. The problem with this store is they do everything on paper, and they use ink for everything. No laser printing or anything, so the ink can run. And if anything happens to the slips that they give you for things like store credit, you're SOL. There's no record or anything, so it's to be treated like cash. Except unlike cash, the ink can run if it's in your wallet too long and you sweat too much. So when I decided to go with store credit, I decided to blow the store credit right on the spot, which is what I did. Got 26 in store credit, bought about 28-ish or so, and there's $1 and something for the difference between the two. First and foremost, for my Genesis, the Genesis thing on the Retro Trio, Mickey Mania, The Timeless Adventures of Mickey Mouse. The only Genesis game that I'm really all that interested in having right now, because there's a lot of Genesis games that are either on the Virtual Console or they're multi-plat, and the SNES version was better. This is the one exception. There is a Super Nintendo version of Mickey Mania. It's basically a platformer. It's interesting if you're like me and you like classic film and cartoons and stuff like that. This is actually a tribute to Walt Disney in disguise. Mickey Mania is a platformer that takes place in all the major Mickey movies for the past, or at least until the 90s, past 50 years. So you start out in a stage that's based on Steamboat Willie, and the last stage is based on The Prince and the Pauper. So it's actually a rather well-done platformer where you go around, play as Mickey, and you go through the various cartoons that Mickey's been in, or the animated movies that Mickey's been in over the years. So I first played this years and years ago at one of my friends who had a Genesis, one of the sitters that I had when I was growing up had a Genesis, and she had and her son had this game, borrowed it from a friend, so I checked it out. It's also where I played Sonic with an Atari 7800 joystick, because that works. It's funny how that works, but so this sucker was $10 though, which is a little steep. This really illustrates a lot of what's wrong with the retro gaming market right now. Namely, the fact that the physical condition of the cartridge isn't really, the physical condition of the cartridge doesn't really have a bearing on things. You start talking about other collectibles like baseball cards and stuff like that, and problems with the condition will bring the value down just like that. But the problem with video games is that there's software. The value comes from the software, unless you're someone who likes to have vintage-looking copies of everything. But there aren't enough people to really affect the prices that much. Case in point, the secondhand store that I went to scored a copy of Evo, which they sold for $200-something, close to the eBay price. Someone around here, where there's not a lot of money to begin with, actually bought that game for $200-something. They had the game last week for triple digits. Because it's rare. Not all that great of a game either. Just all these collectors buying and selling off each other have raised the price that way. So, and they sold it around here of all places. So someone was nuts enough to spend $200 on a middle-of-the-road Super Nintendo game. I don't know. Anyways, so Mickey Mania. Of course, I'm a gamer. I don't collect. I don't try to get return on investment with old games. But so Mickey Mania, use this to test out the Genesis on my the Genesis part of the Retro Trio. Works great now, but I blew through 2 Q-tips to get this sucker cleaned. So they didn't even bother cleaning the contacts on this thing. And I gotta take the sticker off and everything. And yeah, the condition of this thing isn't exactly great either. I mean, look at this horrible wrinkled up label with little dings in it. You look on the back and one of the screws has green stuff on it, and the other one, I probably won't be able... Don't know if I want to be able to try getting this open if I want to clean the contacts more thoroughly than I did with these Q-tips. But yeah, I blew through 2 Q-tips to get this thing clean, enough to where we are. Look at it. Usually this dark gunk disappears off of these things very shortly after it dries out. But these things are bone dry. You can still see all the crap that came off just from this one game, to get it to the point where it wasn't all dirty and stuff and would be A-okay inside the... Obviously, this wasn't adult-owned, but this is an early 90s game, so someone my age would have been a kid back when this game was first coming out. So, yeah, Mickey Mania, Timeless Adventures of Mickey Mouse. It was 10. This loose cart version was 10. They had a complete in-box version for 15. So, yeah, we'll compare prices with the internet later. Oh shoot, no more drink. We'll compare prices later. I do have a comparison sheet that we'll go over for that after the fact. Another thing I got, because of a game that I have for the Nintendo 64 that I currently can't play, an original first-party Nintendo 64 memory card. $5. This was the score of the day. For whatever reason, the internet likes to gouge people with these things. $5 for $5. They had it in a case too, so with their high risk stuff. So maybe because of its small size, but yeah, $5 and no label or anything. But it's a first-party Nintendo 64 one. I did have a memory card for my N64 that died about 10 years ago. And it was one of those high-performance 3-in-1s where you pushed a button to switch between 3 sets of save data. Yeah, that thing died. Every single memory card that I've ever had over the years that has died has had one thing in common: third party. I have never once had a first-party memory card on any system die. It was always Mad Catz or High Performance or something along those lines and stuff like that. So now I can finally play through this copy of Destruction Derby 64 that I picked up about 10 years ago before finding out that my memory card died. That my memory card was getting ready to die. So this game does not save data. This game doesn't save its data. It uses the memory card for that, unfortunately. So I haven't really been able to play much of this. This game is kind of middle of the road. But I like it because it's funny and hilarious. It's got a hilarious announcer, even though the graphics are rubbish. And now that I finally have another N64 memory card that didn't cost an arm and a leg, I'll finally be able to actually make some progress in this game instead of always being stuck with the starter cars. So, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Let's keep everything together before we price compare. And lastly, the newest thing that I got, that I probably didn't even need to get from these folks, I could have gotten it if I had found it in one of the other secondhand stores because it's PlayStation 2 Atari Anthology. I have the Midway compilations. I have the Capcom Classics 1 and 2 on PS2. I have the Sega Genesis collection on PS3. And finally, this sucker is in mint condition. And if I want, I actually bought a wholesale lot of used PS2 cases that have been cleaned up. So if I want to make this look even better, I can get one of those and put everything in there too. But it's actually complete. It's a little pricey. It's actually the rip-off of the day compared to the internet. This sucker was $12. This sucker was $12, which is towards the high end of the eBay range. But it is in absolutely pristine condition, like the original owner never played it. Absolutely spotless disc in like-new condition. It is complete in box, and the manual is absolutely gorgeous. Of course, who's actually going to read the manual? Who's going to actually read the manual for a bunch of Atari games released as a compilation? This is in great shape. Unfortunately, it's a little high, 12-something. It's $12 is a little high for this. So, but anyways, yeah, great shape, like new, absolute mint. So how did we do versus the internet with these folks? Okay, it's report card time. I'm eventually gonna export these lists to text files, put them on my Kindle, so I don't have to print paper every single time. But all right, let's compare the prices. I compared this store to Lukey Games, JJ Games, and eBay. Lukey Games is where I got the Retro Trio from. JJ Games is another e-tailer that I actually like because I should do a video on that. Lukey and JJ. I like JJ Games as individual pictures of things like NES consoles and systems. You can actually look at the merchandise individually before ordering it. So I've gotten some things from JJ Games before, and some things from Lukey Games before. So, and of course the eBay range for buy it now prices on loose carts. So let's begin at the top of the list, since I did these in alphabetical order without even realizing I was doing it. So, Atari Anthology, the rip-off of the day as far as I'm concerned. Paid $12 for it. Lukey has it for $13. The eBay range is $6 to $15, so it's at the top of the eBay range. And JJ has it for $7. So, gouge-a-rama. But I did want to blow away all the store credit in one shot, so this was very, very useful for doing that. So, and it's in incredible shape. This is definitely a keeper. You know, I don't buy games to flip on eBay or anything like that. I only look for what I actually want and would actually like to play, and I buy for my collection. So even though it's the rip-off of the day, because JJ has it for far less, let's not forget, all of this cost me only $1 and change after the store credit was blown away. Okay, Mickey Mania, next on the list. Mickey Mania, Timeless Adventures of Mickey Mouse. This one was $10. Lukey has it for $7 right now, but that's a sale price. They normally sell the Genesis version for $20. Woohoo! Score on that. JJ has it for $10. The eBay range is $5 to $12. The eBay range is $5 to $12, so if I wanted to mess with eBay, I could have gotten it for a lot less. Now here's a shocker, that eBay is actually lower than a lot of the resellers, which again, it's an embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment that this even happens because, again, eBay prices also include fees for PayPal and other stuff. So technically they're a little higher than what they should be in terms of fair price. So middle of the road on Mickey Mania. The score of the day, though, is definitely the N64 memory card. $5 at this store. Lukey has first-party memory cards for, are you ready for this? 17! This was $5. Maybe it doesn't work, I don't know, but this was $5. Lukey has it for $17. Yeah, JJ has third-party ones. You can't even click on the pictures to see if it's first or third-party. They have them for $18 each. The eBay range is $7 to $10. This is the score of the day. If it works, it is hands down the score of the day. Which is sad that the score of the day has to be a memory card, but I don't know what it is with all these with these accessories costing more than the accessories costing more than games. Okay, so yeah, the only Genesis game I'm really interested in having the cart for right now. Maybe that'll change later as I become more familiar with the Genesis, which was the system I didn't have during the 16-bit days. And even though this was towards the top of the eBay, even though this is kind of the rip-off of the day, it's in an immaculate condition for something towards the top of the eBay price range. Maybe JJ Games just undercutting people or something like that. But again, complete, and I could actually put this in a better looking case too, because I have a much better PS2 cases sitting around that I could put this in to make it look like it's like new, that I'm the first and only owner of this. So that is today's secondhand roundup. Mixed results as usual from this store. However, I didn't have to wait for something to come in, and a lot of these were impulse buys anyways, in terms of trying to blow away a store credit thing that I had no interest in holding on to for any respectable length of time. So, I don't know when I'm going to go back, but at some point I will. For now, though, I'll stick to Lukey and JJ, comparing the prices between those two when I want to buy retro stuff. And of course, that assumes if I don't end up playing stuff on like the Virtual Console or something else along those lines, or these compilation things like Atari, Midway, etc. All right. That is today's secondhand Schmecondhand pickup of the day. Don't know how often I'll be doing these things, but till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.